values to valued culture. Here is your host, Will Scott, interviewing another CEO about leading culture in their company.
Today we have Will Scott, founder of Culture Czars. In addition, he owned and grew 2 software companies. One of them is over 20 years old. He talks to CEOs that care about corporate culture. His purpose is to help CEOs create environments so that employees love where they work and why they work. And today's episode is brought to you by The Culture Fix. This is Will's life's work on culture boiled down to the most important aspects you need to know from his decades of experience. Go to culturezars.com to pick up a workbook, and that workbook will help you start implementing a great culture. He's been sought after by many companies to create this, so he finally did, and it helps you bring core values alive in a graphical way, which you can find out more. Go to culturezars.com. Will, I want to talk about, this is part of chapter 2 of your book, Discern, and its core values so much more than just words. So what do you mean by discern?
Yeah, so discern is this process of basically going within. And that's why I recommend a company really discerning their core values when they've got some history. You know, it's hard to do it on day one unless the founder is bringing all of the values kind of to the company. Because they can't be aspirational. You can't make these things up. And it's certainly, if you can actually go within the team, within the individuals, within the best employees, within the founders, and really start saying, what are their values? And then what are the stories of the company that also shows them? And I walk people through this process, but at the end of it, you do end up with a set of core values that can really feel like they're unique to you and you own them. You know, it's really easy. You'll see a lot of companies have respect and integrity as their core values. Great values, but just hard to make those really personal and distinct, you know, for you. So that's what I mean by discern.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about one company that had kind of respect, and they changed to "we are conditioned yellow," right? What do you mean by that?
Well, yeah, it wasn't exactly that, but yeah, they. So again, this is the pepper spray company, Sabre, the largest manufacturer in the world. And I told in the last podcast about their core value being empowered, right? But what do you mean by empowered, right? That can mean a lot of things to different people, and that's why I say it's important to have descriptive behaviors. So one of the things that was important to this company is that you don't just come to your boss with a problem or a question. You come to your boss with the question, the problem, and a solution. Right? Very important to them. That's just one of their things. So that's what we want to capture. So under this empowered core value, we came up with evolve and solve. So instead of a sort of wordy thing, it's something that's catchy that people can remember. We evolve and solve. That means we're constantly growing, figuring out solutions, you know, solving problems. And we do it by evolving and solving. And so that's one example. The other example of descriptive behavior for them is we are fired up. Now that is, of course, if you fire a pepper spray, that's one way of firing up. If you're defending yourself in a threatening situation, but also they're fired up as an organization. They're intense. You know, when they go to an exhibition, they're going there to crush it. You know, every year they grow and their sales goals are, you know, and they add a new country. I mean, they are fired up. So again, that's something that they can use in everyday language. Hey guys, come on, we're being a bit lackadaisical here. We're fired up. Let's get this done.
Yeah, I mean, one of the pieces of this is what makes your company unique. And there's a story about Fred the Lumberjack.
Fred the Lumberjack, yes, it's a great story that came again from digging into the stories at Sabre. And one of their stories was Fred the Lumberjack, who in the Canadian timber forests had protected and saved his friend's life from being killed by a bear with a Sabre bear spray. And so Fred was clearly prepared and engaged, which is one of Sabre's core values. So we're able to talk about Fred's story and link that to their core value. And then some of the subsets under that are, one is, you know, we are conditioned yellow, which is probably most people don't know what that phrase means, but Sabre do because a lot of their clients do it. their clients that are, for example, correction officers in prison facilities. They operate in this constant state of alertness, and so does Sabre as an organization. So again, it was a nice way to link, the way their products are used with their own internal value and kind of a state of alertness. We are condition yellow.
What happened with the bear?
Well, this bear spray,
I'm freaked out right now.
Well, he was stopped. So he basically, he was blinded, and he.
Did he charge the person? What happened?
He was charging, and Fred was able to, spray him from this bear spray fires a significant distance. So he was still a safe distance away when they were able to hit him with enough pepper spray that just stopped him in his tracks, and he ran away.
Wow, that's really scary.
Yeah, well,
thank God for the pepper spray.
And a lot of outdoorsmen carry the Sabre bear spray for that very reason.
Wow.
Yeah.
So at the end of the chapter, chapter 2 is discern. You have an exercise. All right. So talk about what that means to discern.
Yeah, so I do. I love this word discern. And so discerning means, you don't kind of dream it up. So core values, again, should never be aspirational. They should be discerned, which basically means, you go within and you kind of discover what already exists. So core values in an organization, should be brought from what already exists. And that's one of the reasons why it's really hard to necessarily come up with good team core values on day one of a company. Usually, a little bit of history helps really discover what those are, because now you have values, you have those stories, you have philosophies and things that really go towards this whole process of discernment. But the individual pieces of that exercise that I recommend are, what are the founders or the CEO's values, for sure, but also what are some of the values of your best employees. Those are great benchmarks. And then dive, more into what are the favorite stories in the company, the stories that have become folklore and really we use when we're interviewing, and we use when we're really trying to get under the skin of the organization. Often those stories maybe that involved a client or something, we should retell those. And then also like to, go into what are the jokes and phrases, the sort of in language, the lingo of the people. What nicknames do they use, and how do they sort of name their processes and their main activities? And that all, goes together to help, before you start wordsmithing, that gives you the sort of material to work with.
Totally. So everyone should go to culturezars.com, and you can pick up a free workbook to work through. And if we could find a video of a bear being pepper sprayed by Sabre, we should put that into this post, because that would be tremendous to watch. So, yeah. Will, thank you again.
Okay, cheers.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to click subscribe, check us out on the web at culturezars.com, and we'll see you next time.